Stop. Before you water your spider plant one more time, I need you to hear this. That innocent-looking tap water you have been using faithfully every single week, it might be the exact reason your plant has brown tips that never go away no matter what you try. And here is the part nobody warned you about. The fix is not what anyone thinks. I am sharing 12 hacks today that completely change how you care for this plant. Stay with me, because hack number 8 involves something already sitting in your kitchen right now, something you throw in the trash every morning, and it is going to change how your spider plant produces babies in a way you have never seen. And hack number 12, that is the single reason your plant looks flat, crowded, and completely stuck. Most people never do it ever. Once you understand why, you will genuinely wish someone had told you this years ago. Hey, plant friend. Welcome back to SereneGreen Gardens, where we keep your indoor jungle thriving without emptying your wallet. If you are new here, I am so glad you found this channel. We are all about practical, budget-friendly plant care that actually works in real homes with real schedules. To my returning viewers, thank you. You all make creating these videos so rewarding. I read every comment, and you inspire more of this content than you know. Real quick, if you want weekly tips like these in your feed, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. It takes 2 seconds and means you will never miss a hack that could completely transform your plants. All right, let us get into it. Before we dive into these hacks, here is something I want you to sit with. Everyone says spider plants are impossible to kill, and they are right. These plants are survivors. They live through drought, poor light, bad soil, and years of neglect. But surviving and thriving are not the same thing. A surviving spider plant just sits there, pale, flat, maybe pushing out one faded leaf every few months. No babies, no cascading runners, nothing. But a thriving spider plant is completely different. Deep, vibrant green, runners cascading over the pot's edges, babies multiplying faster than you can find homes for them. And here is what most people do not know. A genuinely thriving spider plant is also quietly filtering formaldehyde, xylene, and other compounds out of the air in your home every single day. Today, we are going to bridge that gap completely. 12 hacks, all of them unconventional, most of them free. Let us go. Hack 1, the tap water secret that will shock you when your spider plant gets brown tips. What do? Most people adjust their watering. They water less or more or try a different schedule, but the tips keep browning. They cannot figure out why. Here is why. Your tap water, specifically the fluoride in it. United States municipal tap water contains fluoride at roughly 0.7 parts per million as a public health standard. That sounds harmless, but spider plants suffer irreversible leaf tissue damage when soil fluoride exceeds just 1 part per million. 1. You are watering your plant with water sitting right on the edge of its toxicity threshold, and every single watering, those minerals accumulate in the soil. They travel through the plant's vascular system and concentrate at the very tips of the leaves, the furthest point from the roots, where they literally burn the tissue from the inside out. That is why the damage always appears at the tips first. Not bad luck, chemistry. Here's the part most people completely miss. Leaving tap water out overnight removes chlorine, because chlorine evaporates off as a gas. But it does not touch fluoride. Fluoride stays in that water no matter how long it sits on your counter. 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week. It does not matter. Only distilled water, collected rainwater, or reverse osmosis water actually solves this problem at its source. And if buildup has already been accumulating in your soil for months, a simple switch in water source is not enough on its own. You need to flush the system. Run distilled water through the pot slowly and deliberately 4 separate times in a row, letting it drain completely between each pass. This leaches the accumulated fluoride and mineral salts out through the drainage holes and gives your plant's root zone a genuinely clean start. After that flush, you will likely notice new growth coming in cleaner within the following few weeks. Hack 2. The lie keeping your plant small. Every care guide says the same thing. Spider plants tolerate low light. Technically true, but here's what those guides never tell you. In low light, your spider plant does not just grow slowly, it actually changes. The white stripes on variegated spider plant leaves contain 0 chlorophyll. Those gorgeous cream and white portions cannot photosynthesize at all. Only the green parts do the work. So when light drops too low, the plant quietly drops its variegation. The stripes fade. The whole leaf turns solid green. It is not sick, it is rationing, surviving instead of thriving. The solution does not require a south window or expensive grow lights. A $15 LED desk lamp positioned nearby and running 10 hours daily produces measurable results within 6 weeks. The plant cannot distinguish between LED light and natural light. It just needs the photons. Under adequate light, variegation returns, baby production resumes, and the color deepens to something that makes people stop and ask what you changed. Hack 3. The root-bound baby trigger. This one surprises people every time. Most plant owners see roots creeping from drainage holes and immediately repot. But for spider plants, those roots are not a crisis. They are a signal, and repotting too early accidentally switches off your plant's entire baby-making system. Here is the biology. Spider plants evolved in coastal southern Africa where space and resources are unpredictable. When the root system runs out of room, the plant interprets that as a survival threat. Its response? Reproduction. It starts pushing out runners, babies appear, it is spreading before resources disappear. A slightly root-bound spider plant is a motivated spider plant. The sweet spot is roots circling near the drainage holes and soil drying faster than usual after watering. That is your baby trigger zone. That is not a plant in crisis. That is a plant on the verge of producing its best flush of babies yet. The moment you move into a much larger container, the plant shifts all of its energy to exploring the new root space, and baby production slows or stops entirely because the survival pressure is gone. When repotting becomes truly necessary, when the pot is visibly straining, cracking, or water runs straight through without absorbing at all, move up one pot size only. Not two, not three, one. Give it just enough room to reset, and then let the crowding build again naturally. Wait, I have to pause here because we are 3 hacks in, and I already know some of you are realizing things that were actively working against your own plant. Drop a comment right now and tell me which of these first 3 hit hardest. I read every single one, and if you have not subscribed yet, now is the moment. We post new plant care content every week, and you genuinely do not want to miss Hack 8. That one is going to be fun. Hack 4, the 12 Hard Darkness Baby Reset. This is the hack almost nobody knows about, and once you understand it, you will never look at your spider plant the same way. Spider plants are photoperiod sensitive. They respond to the length of darkness in their day. In nature, as autumn shortens the days below 12 hours of light, spider plants receive a biological signal, reproduce before winter arrives. The result is a fresh flush of runners and baby plants appearing naturally. You can trigger that exact flush on demand inside your home any time of year. If your plant has stalled and stopped producing babies, move it to a spot where it receives fewer than 12 hours of light daily for 3 to 4 consecutive weeks. No special equipment. No changes to watering or feeding. Just slightly reduced daily light exposure. Then return it to its normal bright indirect spot. Within weeks, new runners begin forming. The plant believes autumn came early and responds exactly as it was designed to. This is the reset button most plant owners never knew existed. Hack 5. Bottom watering. The method that changes everything if you have only ever watered your spider plant from the top. Try this once. Just once. Because most people who do never go back. Bottom watering means placing the pot in a basin or sink with 2 inches of water and leaving it for 15 to 30 minutes. Soil draws moisture upward through the drainage holes via capillary action. The plant takes exactly what it needs from below, with zero guessing. Here is why this specifically matters for spider plants. Their crowns, the central base where all leaves emerge, are extremely vulnerable to rot when water pools on them from top watering. Crown rot develops quietly. The outside of the plant can look completely fine while the base is softening and the roots below it are failing. By the time you see symptoms, the damage is often well advanced. Bottom watering eliminates that risk entirely because moisture never touches the crown at all. Roots also grow downward, chasing the moisture source below rather than staying shallow near the surface, building a stronger, more deeply anchored root system over time. The plant becomes more stable, more drought-tolerant, and more resilient overall. When the soil surface feels slightly damp, the plant has taken exactly what it needs. Remove, drain fully, and you are done. No timer needed, no guesswork. The plant tells you it is finished. Halfway through these hacks, and I want to check in. If you are learning things today you have genuinely never heard before, hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing, and it helps YouTube show this video to more plant parents who need exactly this information. And drop a comment telling me which hack you are trying first. I read them all, every single one, and your responses directly influence what I create next. The brown tips fix. Nobody explains. Completely brown tips are the most common spider plant complaint. They are also the most commonly misdiagnosed. And treating the wrong cause will never fix your plant. 2 completely different problems look almost identical on the surface. Crispy, dry, gray-brown tips with a sharp, defined line between dead living tissue, mineral toxicity, fluoride and salt accumulation. Back to hack 1. Dark, soft, mushy tips that feel almost wet, especially combined with yellowing further down the leaf, the opposite problem. Overwatering, root rot beginning. Put the watering can down immediately. Now, the trimming technique most people get completely wrong. Never cut straight across into green living tissue. The plant seals that fresh wound by pulling moisture back toward the cut, browning another ½ inch down the leaf. Instead, cut at a slight diagonal angle just inside the dead zone following the natural leaf shape. The plant does not react. The damage stops right where you cut it. Hack 7. Hack for maximum photosynthesis. This sounds indulgent. It produces real results. Every time you cook, oils become airborne and settle on every surface in your space, including your plant's leaves. Add dust, pet dander, and household particulate matter, and your spider plant is photosynthesizing through a dirty window it cannot clean itself. The film is invisible to you, but extremely real to the plant. Once a month, take your spider plant to the shower. Lukewarm water only. Let water run gently over all surfaces, especially the undersides. The undersides matter most because that is where stomata live, the microscopic breathing pores through which the plant exchanges gases. When they are clogged, everything slows down. Let the plant drain completely before returning it to its spot. Within a few days, the leaves look deeper green, almost glossy. That is not cosmetic. That is the plant finally photosynthesizing the way it was built to. Agent secret. Remember what I said at the very beginning? Something you throw away every morning. Here it is, coffee grounds. Used coffee grounds are slightly acidic, rich in nitrogen, and when used correctly, they feed your spider plant slowly and naturally with zero chemical salt buildup. And they cost you absolutely nothing. Spread used grounds on a flat tray and leave them out for 24 to 48 hours until completely dry and crumbly. Then scratch 1 to 2 tablespoons gently into the top inch of your spider plant soil every 6 to 8 weeks during the growing season only. As the grounds break down, they release nitrogen gradually. They also create tiny air pockets around the roots, improving drainage and oxygen flow. And the texture deters fungus gnats from laying eggs in the soil surface, pest prevention and fertilizers simultaneously. The rule is simple. Always dry them completely first. Wet grounds dumped directly onto soil invite mold almost immediately and attract the exact pest problems you are trying to prevent. Dry, crumbly, and sparingly, 1 to 2 tablespoons maximum per plant. That is the entire method. Less is genuinely more here. A small amount slowly over weeks outperforms a large amount sitting on top of the soil doing damage. Try this for 1 growing season and compare your baby production to what it was before. The difference is something you will notice. Hack 9. The custom soil mix that makes overwatering nearly impossible. Standard potting mix holds far more moisture than spider plant roots prefer. This is why so many spider plants develop root rot even when the owner insists they are not overwatering. The soil is the culprit, not the person. The fix costs less than buying specialty soil. Equal parts standard potting soil and perlite. That ratio alone transforms drainage. Add a generous handful of coarse builder's sand, not fine beach sand, which packs together and reduces drainage. Builder's sand creates permanent air channels in the soil. Then mix in a small amount of horticultural activated charcoal throughout the blend. Activated charcoal absorbs soil impurities, suppresses certain pathogens, and prevents the stale odor that develops when pots stay moist too long. This mix drains so efficiently that your margin for watering error widens dramatically, hydration without moisture retention. Exactly how spider plant roots evolved to function. Hack 10, the air quality truth, and the grouping trick. NASA's 1989 clean air study identified spider plants as one of the most effective houseplants for filtering formaldehyde, xylene, benzene, and toluene from indoor air. These are not exotic chemicals. Formaldehyde off gases from furniture and flooring. Xylene comes from paints and adhesives. If your home is relatively new or recently renovated, these compounds are present right now. But here is the hack inside that fact. Spider plants release moisture into the air through transpiration continuously. When you group 3 or more together in the same area, their combined transpiration creates a microhumidity zone. That elevated humidity reduces water stress on all 3 plants, slows soil drying, and significantly reduces brown tips caused by dry winter air when your heating system is pulling moisture out of your home constantly. 3 plants together accomplish what 3 plants could never achieve separately. If you have a room that runs particularly dry in winter, this grouping strategy is genuinely one of the simplest and most cost-free solutions available to you. For pet owners, spider plants are certified non-toxic to cats and dogs by the ASPCA. The only effect cats experience is a mild, naturally occurring compound that is chemically similar to catnip. You may notice some spirited and enthusiastic interaction with your plant. There is no harm. And honestly, a spider plant in a hanging basket keeps it safely out of reach while still letting those beautiful runners and babies cascade downward where everyone, including your cat, can appreciate them. Heck 11. The fertilizer truth that saves your babies. Most people reach for high nitrogen fertilizer to keep houseplants green. For spider plants, that works against baby production. Heavy nitrogen drives foliage growth but signals to the plant that resources are abundant, so reproduction is not urgent. Baby production slows down. High nitrogen also creates soft, fast-growing tissue that is significantly more susceptible to pests. What spider plants actually need is a balanced fertilizer, 10-10-10 or 20-20-20 NPK ratio, diluted to half strength every 3 to 4 weeks from spring through early fall only. Then stop completely. In winter, the plant enters semi-dormancy and cannot process nutrients efficiently. Winter fertilizing leads to the same mineral salt accumulation we have discussed throughout this entire video. If your goal is specifically more runners and more babies, shift to a fertilizer slightly higher in phosphorus. Phosphorus promotes flowering and runner production. That is the reproductive signal the plant needs. Hack 12. The division reset, the final hack. This is what I told you about at the very beginning. The one most spider plant owners never do. Not because it is complicated, not because it requires special tools, but simply because nobody ever explained what was actually happening inside that crowded pot. And now that you have heard all 11 hacks before it, you understand exactly why this one matters most. Everything we have talked about, the root biology, the reproduction triggers, the resource competition, it all comes together here. When you leave all your pups attached to the mother plant, every single one competes for the same water, nutrients, and root space. The mother is feeding herself and multiple offspring simultaneously. The result is a plant that looks exhausted, crowded, flat, barely producing new leaves. And the pups are not thriving either because they are dependent on a mother stretched too thin. Here is the reset. When pups reach 4 to 5 inches tall with their own visible white root clusters at the base, remove the entire plant from its pot. You will see where individual root systems begin. Using a clean, sterile knife, separate each pup, ensuring every division has its own roots attached. What happens next is remarkable. The mother plant, freed from supporting multiple offspring, redirects every resource back to herself. New leaves appear within weeks. A plant that looked stuck for months suddenly accelerates into the most vigorous growth you have ever seen from it. The pups, now in their own containers with the soil mix from Hack 9, establish faster than they would have while still attached and competing. You did not revive one plant. You now have multiple thriving plants, every one of them started from a single baby. This is how your collection grows. This is how you always have plants to share. This is the hack that keeps giving long after this video ends. And there it is. 12 hacks that take your spider plant from a dusty corner decoration to a cascading, multiplying, air-cleaning powerhouse without spending much money at all. Exactly what SereneGreen Gardens is built around. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 12 hacks surprised you the most? Was it the fluoride science in Hack 1? The 12-hour darkness trigger in Hack 4? The coffee grounds in Hack 8? Or are you finally dividing your plant after hearing Hack 12? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely mean that. Your comments shape this channel more than anything else. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already. We post every single week without fail. And share this with one friend whose spider plant is covered in brown tips or just refuses to grow. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give a fellow plant parent is the answer they have been searching for all along. Thank you so much for being here today. It genuinely means a lot that you spent this time with me. These plants deserve better information. And you deserve a channel that actually gives it to you. Until next week, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that the best plant care never has to cost a fortune. See you in the next